everyone. Today we're going to have a look at how to play the 1982 track Desert Song by the very talented and influential German guitarist Michael Schenker. This one has got a fantastic opening riff sequence, a nice relaxed, easy solo in the middle, and a bit of a ripper for the outro solo. Good stuff. Really great song overall. Probably my favorite track from Schenker's rather large body of solo work. Regardless, let's close in here a little bit and get started on this, shall we? Alright then, we're in standard tuning for this tutorial, and we're working in the key of E minor. The solos are both in E minor and the track is in E minor. And it starts with just a chugging E string. And then he plays some harmonics over top of that. Let me kill my volume a little bit here. Here at the 12th fret he starts, and then he moves down to the 7th fret, and then he moves down to the 5th fret, and then he goes back to the 7s, just from the D string on down. 7, 5, back to 7. And when he goes to that 5, there's a passage in the middle of this song where he does this harmonic thing again. He actually hits the 5s, but at the beginning, he misses. And I don't know if it's intentional or not. He kind of goes there, and it's just completely muted strings. But I think it's a mistake, but he left it in. He doesn't actually get the harmonics. He kind of misses it a little bit, and it's just muted strings. And, he adds a little bit of vibrato to those, right? Maybe with his bar, he's up here doing a little bit of waggling beyond the nut. But that's the opening, and then we're into the opening riff. And that is the opening riff. A two-finger, two-note D chord here, 5th fret of the A string, 4th fret of the D string. And you're just going to hit that very staccato and move it up to an E minor, two-note E minor here. 7 of the A, 5 of the D. And you're going to hit that twice. And then into this. Before going back to that again. That's just open, 2, 3, 5. Twice on the 5, and then back to 3 to 2. And that's that. And then back to this. Now, after you do it the second time, that D to E minor, you're going to go into back to the D minor, and you're going to hit the open E, the A string, the D string, on the 5, 4, and the open G, and just kind of let those ring. It's kind of a dissonant sound to it. You can even go right down to the B string if you like. And then you repeat the whole thing one more time. I think the whole thing gets repeated actually 4 times. Now the band joins. And you can start riding along with the band because the band is joined at this point. Now you can start riding the low E string. And now we're into the main riff. And you're going to repeat that, I think, 4 times at the beginning, and then all through the first verse. So the 2-finger E minor here, 7 and 5, A and D. You're going to hit that twice, and then you're going to go back to the D, 5 and 4. And you're going to hit that twice. And the whole time you can ride along with the open E string. There's more guitars going on here than one. And I think his guitar is just hitting these chords, while the other one is chugging along on the open E, right? But you can kind of incorporate both together. hit the open E along, you know, between each chordal change. So, from the E to the D, back to E, and you're going to hit each of these just once. E, and move it up 2 places, and then move it up to the 10 of the A and the 9 of the D. With a little chug of the open E string between each chord change. Now we're going to move it up to the 12th fret of the A and the 10th fret of the D. And hit that twice, back it up to the original chord there that we just left off, and then again back it up to the now we're on the 9 and the 7, right? One more time. And now we're going to go back to the E. We're finally back to the E again. You're going to hit it once, and then back to the D 3 times. And that is the main riff that's running throughout most of the song. It's all a little double stop work right on the A and the D string. All notes out of the E minor scale. And then we're into the chorus, and leading into the chorus, you're going to go 3, 2, open on the low E, into an E minor chord. And then you're just going to ride down the E minor. Actually, you can play it one of 2 ways. You can ride right down the E, A, D in the E minor, E, A, D, and G string before skipping down to the high E, and then ride up the E, B, and G string. But what I actually think he's doing, I think he's going E to A, down to G, up to D, and then down to the high E string and riding up the B and G. Kind of like that. Let me kill my volume a little bit so you can hear me better. And now we're going to slide into the 4th fret of the A string, and then grab the 2nd fret of the D string along with the open G. Ride down those notes, drop it off to the C note there at the 3rd fret, and then 3, 2, open again, and back into the E minor. And you repeat that 4 times during the first verse, and then back in for the second chorus, or for the second verse. When I said verse, I meant chorus. That's this part is the chorus. And then coming out of the chorus, you do that 3, 2, open again on the low E. Back into that. And into the second verse, and then you go back into the next chorus, and then we're into the first solo. And so that is all the rhythm parts you need to know. And now we're going to dig in, and like I said, in the middle of this track, or 3/4 of the way through, everything dies. They go back into this again, the harmonics. 12 to 7 to 5, back to 7. And coming out of that, they go back into that very briefly. But I don't think they do that. And then they go into the 3rd chorus, And then we have the outro solo, which is a very, very good solo by Michal Schenker. But let's have a look at the middle solo, which is nice and slow and relaxed and pretty easy to play. That is the middle solo. So we're working the E minor, E natural minor scale here, mostly in this position at the 7th fret, starting on the A string. That is the E minor, natural minor in that position. What is it? 7, 9, 10, 7, 9, 10, 7, 9, 7, 8, 10, 7, 8, 10, root note, 12th fret. So, we're going to start with a bend at 10, full step bend. And then you're going to release that bend off to the 9 of the G. Now we're going to go 9. And then you're going to go 7, 8, 10 of the B, slide it into 12. Now we're going to go back to the 10 for another bend, off to 8, back onto 10, and back to the 9 of the G. Back to the 7, pick it twice, second time slide it into 8. That's pretty much the first half of the solo, so let's recap that. Now here's the second half. Same thing we already did. 9 of the G, 7, 8, 10, slide into 12 of the B. Now a little half step bend, double bend, little half step double bend, back to 8, and then back onto 10 for a bend, release, and then back to the natural note. Pre-bend, and then off to the 9 of the G. Got it? One more time, from the middle of the solo. Double half step. Now let's finish up. So again, we're going to go 9 of the G, 7, 8, 10 of the B. And now when we get to the 10 this time, we're going to kill the note, pre-bend it, and release it. And release it off to the 9 of the G. Now back to the 8 for 2 hits of the B. And the second one, you're going to give a little quarter bend before you finish on the 9 of the G. that's the end of that solo. Good, let's run through it nice and slow. It's pretty slow to begin with. Lots of vibrato. And then we're back into that. And for one final chorus, and then we're into the outro solo. So let's crank up our volume here, crank up the gain a little bit, and have a look at this outro solo. So it starts with unison bends here at the 5th fret of the G and the B, 7 and 5. Now you're going to hit it again, move it up 2 places, move it up 1 place. Right, so that's the opening. Again, move it up, 1, and then we're into this. So a little trill between 5 and 8. And then grab the 7 of the G. And then you're going to go 5, 7, 8, slide into 10. And with vibrato. And then into this. So 8, 7, 5. Little trill between 5 and 7. Up to 7 of the G, back to 5. Back to 7. And then you're going to slowly raise that. And when you get it to the top of full step, you're going to pick it again. Kind of like that. So from the beginning. That's the opening sequence of the outro solo. One more time. Now we're going to jump back to the 2nd fret of the G. We're going to do that. We're going to grab the 2nd fret of the G. Give it a bend, a full step bend. And when you get it up there, pick it 4 or 5 times. Finally release it off to open, and then back onto the 2nd fret. And then you're going to start sliding up after you drop back onto the note. So you're going to slide that note right up the fretboard, and it's happening a lot faster than I'm doing it. You're going to grab the open E on the upstroke. Right into a full step bend at the 15th fret of the B string. So that E, that open E string, he just hits it just before it goes into the bend. Kind of like that. And then we're into this little lick coming out of the bend. all in the now we're in the 12th fret position of the E natural minor scale. Playing that little lick there. So a little double trill between 12 and 15 of the B. And then you're going to grab 14 of the B string. And then you're going to go right down the scale basically. And you finish on the 17 of the high E, and then you go right into a full step bend at 17. Got it? Up to that point, nice and slow. Now we're going to jump up to 19, give it a step and a half bend, and go into that. So you're going to release that step and a half bend back to 19, pick it again, off to 15, back to 19, and finish on the 17. Back to 15, back on to 17. You're going to give that 17 another bend, and now you're going to release that bend, string skip up to the 16 of the G string. Right? So from here, and now we're into this. Great little lick that. So we're going right down the E minor, starting on the A string. Down to the D. Now jump to the 12s. And when you get to the 12, you're going to go 12, 14, 15. Now repeat it, 12, 14, 15 again. Right? And then back to the 12, one final time. And then we're going to end this little scale run here. Now we're getting the blue note involved right there on the 15 of the G. (15, 14, 12) to finish that little lick up. One more time. Now let's finish this lick. There's still more to it. So you're going to go back to the 15 of the B, and then back to 14 of the G. String skip down to the 12 of the high E. Back to 15 of the B, pull it off to 12, right into a full step bend at 15 of the high E. Alright, so from the E minor, riding down the E minor. No, from this. That kind of starts it off. Let's run through that one more time. Alright, you got that? So now we're going to grab that, bend it again, and then you're going to release it back to the natural note, hit that, and then you're going to do a little trill between 12, 15, back to 12. And then you're going to grab 15, do this little double pump off the 12 of the high E, bending the 15. And then into this classic blues lick on the bending the 14 of the G, doing trills on the 12-15 of the B. You're going to do that like 3 times, and then you're going to do a little bend release from 14 off the 12 of the G, and then finish string skip up to the 14 of the A. So that whole sequence. Fairly slow, right? The whole thing put together from the E minor. And now we're going to go 14, 13, 12. Now we're going to go 12, 11, 10. Back to the 2nd fret of the G. You're going to give that a bend, release, and then maybe a little pull off back to the open, finish on the 2 of the D. And then the final lick of the solo. Back into the 12th fret position. 14, 12, 12 of D, G, B. On to 15, 14, blue note again, 15, 14, 12 of the G. Reverse it. But skip the blue note this time. So you're basically going to reverse what you just did. Now reverse it without the blue note. And you're going to go 12, 14, 15. Down to 12 of the high E. Back onto 15. For a full step bend. And he hits that a couple of times, that bend. And that's it. That's the outro solo. Let's run through it nice and slow from the top, and then we'll be done. That, my friends, is How You Play Desert Song by Michal Schenker from his Assault Attack album, 1982. Hope you found that helpful. If you did, please hit that like, if it did, not if you did, if it did, hit that like button, drop me a subscribe if you haven't done that. That would be awfully kind. Hit that notification bell so you know when I upload something new. Hope you're well out there in your little guitar corner of the world, wherever that may be. I've got a dirty guitar here. Sorry about that. And you guys take care of yourselves. We'll see you next time. Cheers.